A very good evening to you and welcome to Global Television, the desk here on Global Television. My name is Godwin Sunday. From across Nigeria, there are a lot of conversations from politics to sports to economics to technology to finance and what have you. All of this conversation is what we help you make a concrete sense with and on, even on the desk here on Global Television. Today, we'll be talking about politics and how it affects Nigeria. Politics, an overview of Nigeria, looking at it from the west, traveling down to the south and moving to the north. What is happening in the country? Are there political discourse? Are there conversations that are begging for answer? All of this and more is what we will be doing and try to put perspective, cross the T's and dot the I's even on the show today. Don't forget that as the conversation is about to begin here on the desk, you can join us on our various social media handle showing on your screen right now. You can join us on our various social media handle on Global TV NG at Global TV NG. You can also at this point call your friends, your family members, and of course your relatives. So please also be a part of the conversation this evening by going straight to the app. Anywhere you are across the world, you can join in the conversation by downloading the Global TV app and join in the conversation. Should you want to do that right away, you can download the Global Television Nigerian app on Android and iOS devices to keep touch and keep in touch of our conversation this evening. Well, the conversation is about to start, but today we'll be talking basically in politics as it affects Nigeria. And joining me to talk about this is, let me not unveil this, who is talking to us today, but in the jiffy you get to know who is talking to us, even on the desk here on Global Television. My name is Godwin Sunday. We'll go for a short break, and when we return, we'll delve into the conversation. Please go nowhere as the show continues in a moment.
Do you know that Global Television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch Global Television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Welcome back. Joining me to talk about the state of the nation right now is the chairman of Inter-Party Advisory Committee, the umbrella body, council of the umbrella body of the registered political parties in Nigeria, and he is the chairman of the person of Yusuf Mama Dantali I hope I got that correctly this evening. But first, you're welcome.
Dentally.
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 Dentally. You're welcome to the desk.
Thank you.
All right. First, let's even begin the conversation by saying Ramadan Kareem to you.
Thank you so
to
much.
start with, because it's quite a very tedious task to pull you out of pull you out this season. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
All right. A lot of conversation, even around the country. But first, let's look at from the south to the west, to the east, to the north. A lot of conversation. But how will you assess the nation right now politically? How will you be able? What's your scorecard for Nigeria politically right now?
Thank you. Good afternoon once again. Politically, I will say we are doing the usual things that we are known to doing when election is fast approaching. It's obvious that the system or the polity is getting heated up because of expectation ahead of 2027. And essentially, yes, it is normal, but not really healthy for democracy, because some of these things are unnecessary. And if we are seeking for political office for the sake of the welfare of the average Nigerian, I don't think it is wise to go to the extreme with which we are going. But then we all know people have different purpose for joining politics. But I believe that some days we'll get it right and have a better Nigeria that we want. But I pray we need to do more than what we are doing, because you can't continue to do one same thing and expect a different result. So if you must have different results, you have to do something different. Because this is the same thing, the weaponization of our poverty and so many other things, all for political reasons. I think we need to be more sincere to the system and to Nigerians beyond where we are now.
Interesting. Let's talk about let's begin the conversation first from the south. We've seen that just recently the former governor of Akwa Ibom State, in the person of Udom Emmanuel, been arraigned before the Economic and Financial Crime Commission a few days after a handshake with the president.
It's funny, right?
Yeah, a few days after the handshake with the president. But what do you make of this development, even on the political scene?
The EFCC is an institution on its own that is set up to look at economic crimes, and then you don't know the information available to them. And Udom is not the first and won't be the last former governor to be arrested. Others have been. So I think they have their information, their intelligence about his activities or financial activities while he was in government, and he has some questions to answer. But I know they will always do what is right. And then
this is coming 4 months after Okowa was arrested, who was a former governor of Delta State.
Yeah, it is like a culture that most former governor, anytime people leave public office, you have to visit the EFCC to clear yourself for one or two things. I won't say much about that, but then what it indicates is that we should try as much as possible while we are in office to serve the people, to do what is right. But it is not that the fact that somebody is invited or arrested doesn't make him guilty until pronounced by a competent court of jurisdiction. So I think I don't see anything wrong in that.
All right, so let's travel right now to the North Central, where we have Natasha Akpoti's conversation. I think that conversation is like on everybody's lip right now. Looking at this whole saga at the National Assembly, and as the chairman of IPAC, how will you react to what's going on right now in the country?
You see, there are things that I think we should take more seriously. When you are elected to represent the people, you are not there on your own. you have to learn to separate yourself from the institution. You have to learn to separate yourself from the people you are represent. You have a mandate to represent people. You have an institution, and this institution is about Nigeria. Yes, Natasha is not perfect. She might be wrong. Yes, she might have violated some rules in the hallowed chamber, but there are core issues that is supposed to be addressed. So the fact that one person is wrong doesn't take away the reality or the substance of the matter in question. So I think the Senate, with all due respect, they were so hasty in passing that judgment. That is one. Two, you can't build, you can't, I don't know, there's this concept of judiciary that it will be just to be remedium. If you want equity, you must come with clean hands. And that is one. Two, there was a pronouncement of the court. When this happened, Natasha went to court. And there was a pronouncement that, okay, fine. The court says do not. And we have the principle of separation of powers and checks and balances at the same time in our constitution. So the court, if the Federal High Court ordered that no, do not try or punish this person. Yet. But the legislature went ahead to do it. So what it means is that they do not even respect the laws that they make. So if you don't respect your own laws, who is supposed to respect your laws? So for me, it is an aberration. And then coming to the substance of the matter, yes, this lady said, this is what something like this is happening. Fine. Yes, she might, maybe the modus of presentation of the appeal or the public outburst might be wrong, but there is an issue to be addressed. So do we sweep away everything because somebody did not obey the internal? She can be punished for the rules, okay, if there are punishments juxtaposed by that, the violation of such rules, but that does not mean what she said should be thrown away. Nobody is talking about that, and for me it is wrong, because it's about the institution of the Senate. It's not about Akpabio, it's not about Natasha, it is about the Senate. It has to be sanctified.
Even speaking of the Senate, right now, some of the punishment that was given to her was, a part of it was that she cannot appear in the Senate for the next 6 months. She cannot even be allowed into the assembly complex for the next 6 months, which automatically means that the entire Kogi Central is completely silent on national issues, even at this point. You are in the political space. You think this is a right step in the right direction right now?
There are previous judicial precedents on this issue that no, the House, the Senate, or the House of Reps do not have the powers to suspend a member to that maybe that duration of time. It happened to Senator Ali Ndume. It happened to Senator Dino Malai. It happened to a few others. And there's a judicial pronouncement. There are judicial pronouncements on such. And I think the maximum period that you should do such should be about within the range of 14 days. But even at that, there must be fair hearing. Because it's like babbing someone's hair on that person's on the person's behalf. Natasha never defended herself. She only brought, nothing happened to they said the Committee on Ethics said this petition is dead on arrival for this technicality, for that technicality. So I think for me, it is an aberration, it is unfair, okay, and undemocratic.
So you think that the Senate has erred even in its position that it has taken so far?
It is too hasty and it's too extreme. Allow her to defend herself, because this is a period that we are trying to increase the number or the participation of women in politics all over. Okay, IPAC is at the forefront of canvassing for more inclusion of women, even a special seat for women, which the current Deputy Speaker, Honorable Benjamin, Right Honorable Benjamin Kalu, sponsored, and it's receiving attention of the House. So if we are trying to, or working on increasing the population, the number of, the inclusion of women in the system, the few we have, we should be able to manage them. Okay, we are not saying they are perfect, but we have to be mild in some of the punishment we made. But this is it's so drastic and discouraging.
Interesting, but even at this point, what in the face of grave injustice, like you have rightly speculated, looking at all of this, minorities in the House tend to be quiet about this issue. Is it that it doesn't concern the minority members of the House of Assembly at this point, or they just want to just allow it be because the eyes keep having it in the House? So is it that minorities don't speak, or their voices can't be heard, even in this particular case? Has she been relegated to the back door of inconsequential all of a sudden?
You know, one thing about injustice, if it's favoring you today and you think it's healthy, wait until you are out of power. Somebody was there, and somebody will be there. People today. I've seen video clips of the current Senate president in the same situation yesterday. So the same thing, somebody will be there. Mohamed Lawal was the Senate president. Was now he's on the floor of the Senate. So like that. So injustice is not about one person. Now you see a lot of people, or a lot of political leaders who had the powers of life and death yesterday in this country, and today trying to come back to power by all means to see that thing that they couldn't do, or that they refused to do because it was benefiting them, is working against them, and they want to come back today to do it. So it is always good to do what is right, not even about this, but even the laws that we make should be laws that will go cut across generation, that not just about the interim benefit or the temporary benefit or personal benefit that we achieve. Okay? So, but when you do something that will cut across, it will help. Tomorrow you won't be there. Somebody else will be there. It will count against you too.
Interested. All right, Alhaji Yusuf, let's travel a bit to the southwest.
You are taking me around Nigeria.
We're going around Nigeria, of course. Nigeria. Let's travel a bit to the southwest. A lot of dramas happening in the southwest. From the case of Obasa, in Lagos State, and that of Osun State. But we'll begin with Osun State because we can easily tie the Osun State story to that of Rivers State. I want to find out from you at this point, what is the position of IPAC in the Osun saga?
What exactly about Osun? There are so many things about Osun.
We're coming back to already Governor Adeleke is already consulting around the state on local government election. We've seen court injunctions and other counter injunctions. It's trying to reinstate certain laws that have been made, and all of this rhetoric around Osun, and similar thing happening in Rivers State. But of course, let's even find out what's the position of IPAC.
If you have been following the activities of Inter-Party Advisory Council of Nigeria, our position is very clear on local government election. Osun is not an exception. What is conducted, or what is called local government election being conducted by the state independent electoral commissions, even though they are set up by the constitution, it does not mean minimum standard of election. It is a charade. It is a coronation of individual by the sitting governor to bring people that he wants. That tell me where, apart from the election being conducted by INEC in the FCT, tell me which of the if you go by the ruling of the Supreme Court on the election conducted by on Rivers, if you bring it back, okay, to begin to cross-examine or juxtapose the elections being conducted, all the elections conducted in the 36 states of this country by state governors have to be cancelled.
Including that of Katsina State.
All. If you look at the judgment, Because
Katsina
if
said
you
free-
look,
Katsina election was
the
free, fair,
electoral
and
act
credible.
is very clear.
Yeah.
What you said, what
Katsina
is,
State was regarded as being
By
fair,
who?
By observers that went to.
oh, of course, observers are there.
Just
We
free,
are
fair,
talking about
credible.
we are talking about the laws. It's not about the person who is observing or who is not. Who is the observer in the first place? Who is the observer? We are talking about the law. We are talking about the electoral act. If we look at what is happening or what happened across the 36, all the elections, sincerely, it doesn't meet minimum standard of election. We shouldn't go into this so much. So it is not about Oshun alone. It's not about Rivers. The only difference there is that these ones only have the activities have been amplified because the interest there is higher than others. If not the same thing. Tell me that state that all that election. Rivers own is even better because in Rivers State you have another party winning the chairmanship slot, okay, of one local government, and then a few other parties. Few states you have other just some small, but in Rivers there's a local government being won by AA.
Yeah.
You understand? And in Akwa Ibom, the election conducted in Akwa Ibom, the current Senate president, the first result that was announced, he didn't win his local government, but somehow they have to bring it back that I know this is not, and then put the name there. So we have to be sincere to ourselves, and we must save this democracy. It is laughable. We swear by the Bible, we swear by the Quran and all the things we believe in to uphold the sanctity of the Constitution. But in reality, we do not. We have to save Nigeria. And it's not just the executive, the judiciary. Some members of the judiciary, some of the judgments they deliver do not have justice at the base of the judgment. So many things we need to look at. This country, there's no country, for me, there's no country as blessed as Nigeria. If I die and there's provision to resort, I want to come back as a Nigerian. But we have to fix Nigeria for all of us.
Okay, so let's come back to all of this dynamics and technicalities in this conversation. First, INEC have come out to say that the election was free, fair, and credible. But
which election?
In all the local governments. So
is INEC? INEC didn't say that.
INEC have come out to
No. The local government election?
Before the state. So what I meant by INEC, I mean the states.
No, they are not the same thing.
Okay, I sincerely apologize on that. But all the state resident electoral commissions have come out to say that elections conducted in the state have been free, fair, and credible.
What do you expect? You expect them to say it's not credible? No, but what do you expect? It's like you coming to say Global TV is the worst television. Can you say that? Would you say that?
But what Nigerians are even trying to find out at this point, even here on this table, are there no recommendations or ways that INEC, like inter-party advisory council can come up with an advice or communicate to INEC on better ways to address such issues other than going back to the polls? I don't know where we can meet at so that we can conserve resources.
I still want you to correct what you are saying. You should be able to separate INEC from state independent electoral commission.
The state government.
You see,
I apologize.
We have been advocating for INEC to conduct these elections. The only local government election conducted in Nigeria by INEC is FCT, and then in FCT it is you go to the records. You can find out from INEC there is no one single political party that is winning all the seats in FCT. You have every political party getting its own quota because what the people vote is what the outcome is a reflection of the people's vote. So nobody have been able to come out. PDP, even as opposition, the last FCT election, they are not in power. But PDP have more area councillors than the ruling power in FCT. You understand? That's to tell you the nature of the election conducted by INEC to that of State Independent Electoral Commission. But here you have bodies conducting election that they don't own the ballot paper, the PVC. The PVC they use belong to INEC. They don't have voters register. The voters register they use belong to INEC. They do not delimitate constituency. They use that one that belongs to INEC. Common ballot box they do not have. They use the one that belongs to INEC. So what they do not have anything, any of the instrument used to conduct election, the State Independent Electoral Commission.
So indigenous touch to the election?
No, nothing. They do not have any of this. You all borrow these things from INEC. That is if at all they even use it in some cases. Yes, you will see most times when in general election they talk about vote buying. It is an aberration. It is illegal. Okay, but why do people buy votes in the general election? Because the votes in that election count. You can't manipulate the figures. You don't write it. Have you ever heard of vote buying in any local government election before? You know why? Because there's no vote to buy.
So it's a predetermined.
It's just
a predetermined election.
You understand? So that is if you juxtapose them, you now see the quality of election being conducted by INEC, even though it is not perfect, compared to the election being conducted in court by SEC. So, and unfortunately, we are not today the sitting governors of this state. You think you are, yes, it is beneficial, it is to your interest in the short run, but in the long run, you are destroying democracy at the local level. What is democracy? Democracy is about inclusion. It is government that is put together by the people, administered by the same people, for the benefit of the same people. But you have a government that is not, the people do not know how it came about. You call it democracy? Somebody sit down and put the names together. So we must be sincere. We have to. And democracy, this local government, for me, is most important. If we have governance at the local level, some of the social and economic ills we have in the society today will reduce. But there's no government. This is government that is closest to the people, that will reduce rural and rural-urban migration, that will reduce the pressure on the state and the federal government. It is a welcome development. The announcement by the Supreme Court, at least with through the Attorney General, the Minister of Justice, okay, the Attorney General of the Federation. Yeah. Okay, he went to Supreme Court for interpretation, and a local government financial autonomy is granted. It is a welcome development. It is a good step in the right direction. But the question is that the people there, who are those chairmen, how did they emerge? Is their emergence a reflection of the will of the people? The answer is capital no.
It's getting interesting. Well, let's even talk again about the local government elections, since you've taken us to that point. Most times, even in local government election, we tend to see minority political parties easily chicken out, if I'm permitted to use that word.
You said? I didn't hear that part.
We see minority political parties tend to flee away from the polling units, tend to abandon the election, and they tend not to participate after. Even when you get to the polling unit, you just see they said, okay, this person has pulled out from this election, even at the local government level. With all of this pulling out of local government elections by minority political parties, how do we strengthen the local government elections?
I disagree with you when you say pulling out. Nobody will come out for election and pull out. something will take you out.
Oh, okay.
So you have...
Enlighten us on that. Yeah, go, please.
Nobody will go out. First, in the past, political parties were funded by the government. That subvention that was given to political parties for the runnings of the activities, especially primary election, is being withdrawn, courtesy of the Senate. Today, political parties are expected to drive their own affairs financially. They should generate whatever they spend by themselves. And you have parties that have the opportunity to be in government who have resources, and those who do not have public resources to inject. You expect them to operate on the same parameter? It's not possible. And you know the economic situation of an average Nigerian today, how poverty is being weaponized. That we go to, people die because of rice. People go to scoop petrol, PMS on the road, even though they are dying, they will still go and pick. Now there will be an accident. There will be accident on the road. People don't care about the life of the people, but to steal those things, the food, the indomie. That tells you the situation, the economic situation of average Nigeria. May God take it. May God take us out of the situation. It's a very terrible one. So now, and then the level of awareness of average Nigerian today. That the common man in the village doesn't even know the relationship between him and the man in power, or the man who is seeking for political office. So it is seen as, now in own time, now make it go take it own. Just give us our own one, go and collect your own. It's not about you going to serve. Before, it is in the past. You see local government going to build market, construct feeder roads, taking care of local clinics, and where are the schools? Where are the roads? How many local government is doing that today? You see a governor coming out to commission 2-kilometer road, 3-kilometer road. It is embarrassing. So some of these things, we have a lot. We can't finish this matter on this table.
Alhaji, in the light of this conversation, can't we begin to tell ourselves the honest truth?
Who is we?
Okay, we on this table.
Oh, wow.
Can't we begin by saying, if this the adopted democracy that we adopted, we got from the Western world, is it working for us as it stands right now, by your own assessment, if we want to be true to ourselves?
No, but you know the answer. I don't need to tell you.
You have sat down with political politicians. You've sat down with chairmen of different political parties. Of course, you champion the cause of all chairmen of all political parties.
I read one interview.
All right.
Tell magazine then went to interview the former president IBB. And then they asked him that, General, are you saying after 8 years of transition to civil rule program, you ended up with an interim national government and you have no regret? He said, oh, gentlemen of the press, I don't know how much of Winston Churchill you have read. He said, and I quote, we will do the right thing after all the alternatives have been exhausted. So, yes, we are practicing democracy, in quote, but the meaning of democracy on paper and at its practice in the Western world today is different. How many people go to court after periodic elections? What is the role of police and security agencies? How many people you see buying vote in the US or British election? So there is a whole lot of overhauling of the democratic system to do. But gradually, I believe, we will do it. We will get there. It might not be now, but somehow. Yes, and then I will say, okay, the military intervention in politics is one of the things that worked against the growth of and development of democracy here because of the periodic incessant military incursion and trying to alter the system. So, but today we have at least 25 years of uninterrupted democracy, which IPAC is celebrating through a movie on Unbroken. We've never had that. So, and well, at least we have civilians handing over to civilian 2, 3 dispensation. So it is a welcome development. We pray and we'll continue to talk to ourselves to see that, okay, at least when a few that left are now maybe the museum for others to study or library for others to study, that, okay, look, this thing we need to do what is right now at this point.
Alhaji, there is a rumor which it brought us on IPAC.
Okay.
And that rumor is that minority political parties come into elections in order to get funds.
From who?
After losing the elections.
From who?
Compensated by the ruling political party in that state or in that, for probably be it in a federal election or local or state election or local government election. They get compensated. And as such, it has weakened the strength of minority political parties in Nigeria. How correct is this assertion?
I am happy you said it's a rumor because it is not true, because I am not aware, because everybody who is giving the person the money in the first place. How do you get the money?
So
it's as good as saying that I have there's a rumor that journalists go to the right report to favor a particular situation or individual to make money. Well, there are rumors like that. Am I correct?
Yeah.
But there are exceptions. So it's like that. So if you say rumor, fine. But if you are talking about statement of fact, then we can discuss that.
Because there's no smoke without fire. Of course, for one to start up, it means that probably there must have been reasons to believe that
there is no perfect situation anywhere 100%. There are exceptions to every rule. Okay, even in the class of prophets, there were deviants. Okay, we have prophets who violated in the Quran, in the Bible. Okay, so the same thing. There are exceptions even in the family setting. There are exceptions. There are deviations. So the fact that 1 or 2 persons deviate does not mean it is a statement of fact. Because this is a statement that is not substantiated. You can't substantiate. For me, I don't know. I'm not aware. It could be happening, but I'm not aware.
All right, Alhaji. To a very large extent, again, we've seen most minority political parties, once they lose elections, they almost lose out in this election. We don't get to hear about them again, even as opposition political party. With this in place, how do we grow and strengthen our democracy?
It is still part of the discussions we need to have, so that because we have a system that is zero-sum in nature, that winner takes all and loser lose all. The moment you win, you are an in-group. The moment you lose, you are out-group until you become opposition again. Yesterday, PDP was in power, okay? So some of the things PDP or members or some persons in PDP are seeing now, they didn't see it while they were in power. Okay? So the same thing, those who are in power today, if they do not do what they are supposed to do, so they will be in opposition too. There are people who were in APC yesterday who have moved to another party who are no longer. So even in the same PDP, there are states like the Osun you are talking about now. APC was there. Now PDP is there. So it is what we need to do, or what I think we should do, is to try as much as possible to be magnanimous in victory. And then I see, like this government, the government of President Asiwaju, Ahmed Bola Asiwaju, at least there are elements of other members of political parties, okay, who are being given appointment. We can see that visibly. So the same thing, if you go to some state, a few states, you see some of the governors trying to bring in members of other opposition parties. I think I saw it in Adamawa State, in Delta State, during Ifeanyi Okowa, and even the current governor of Delta. You see members of other opposition parties in government to work together. So I think in Rivers too, this governor, the current governor too, is working with members of other. So if like that, so we should try as much as possible to see how we can work with people, with other parties, not just members of our party, because there are members in the opposition who have something better to offer that will make your system better. They won't take over your place, but they will add more. So I think it's about the individual in position. So gradually we have to learn to begin to bridge this gap and make Nigeria work for all of us.
Speaking of Nigeria working for all of us, let's travel again. You know, we're on a journey, Alhaji. We've traveled from the west, we've gone to the south, and we've touched the north central. Let's see if we can even touch the eastern part of Nigeria before we leave this table and also come back to the north to talk about the politics even within this space. Now, let's get to the eastern part of Nigeria. We've seen the politics play out in Anambra State. We've seen that over. Politics play out in that of Imo State and other Ebonyi. But there's this cry, even in the far eastern part of Nigeria, that most government and government policy is not indigenously rooted. These policies are taken from from the lighter note of it, and they try to bring these policies down, implement it to people at the lower cadre. What is the position of IPAC, even in ensuring that policies of government...
You have not asked a very clear question.
Okay, so
you need to
let me make it clear. I'm bringing it back to IPAC right now, because I know IPAC is an advisory body.
Correct.
Even to all political parties.
Correct.
In the Southeast, there tend to be a sectionalized political policy deficiencies, where the policies doesn't get to the people at the grassroots.
How?
Okay, this will explain a typical example. In Anambra State, for example, the people are lamenting that some of Soludo's policies are not in tandem with the people, although it's for the better good of the people. But wide range of consultation was not carried out. Hence, the negative effect of the policy means that the people in the state are not happy. In this regard, how does IPAC come in?
I want to say this very clearly.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Governor Charles Soludo is one governor I personally respect because he's doing very well, developmentally. You see, some people will say, don't give me fish. Teach me how to fish.
Yeah.
I think that is who Governor Soludo. We are used to the system of bringing the money to the table. You take your own, I take my, everybody go. But Soludo is saying no as an economist. And as a man who loves his people, I will create that enabling environment for you to feed yourself, to get yourself what you want. And I think that is what Nigeria needs. At times when I see, they say palliative, giving people rice, giving people palm oil, vegetable oil, and if you, for me it doesn't, because some of the people these things are getting to the house, they divert them and sell it to farmers. We have seen so many there are situations where food that's meant for the common man, okay, from the federal government, end up in the market through the people, even fertilizers. But where the environment is such that people can, on their own, take decision of what business you want to venture into. You have the light, you have the access road, you have the security, you understand? And then you have easier access to capital, and then education, primary, secondary, is accessible to the common man. Medical services accessible to the common man. I think it is better. So for me, most times the situation that makes people free is, for the most part, the situation that people do not really want. I think it is.
So if the policies are anti-people,
yes,
what is the position of IPAC in that situation?
That's why I'm saying I have not seen anything that is anti-people, because the dividends of democracy is to provide for the people.
And the same people are saying that some of the policies,
not the same people, a few.
Okay, the few people.
If a man is about to go for another general election, when was the last time you went to Anambra?
It's okay, Alhaji. So Alhaji, let's come back to the conversation, and let's come back home to the north, which is our abode and alma mater.
Everywhere is our home in Nigeria. Okay, so Nigeria is our home.
So how will you access the politics so far, even in the north?
Which part of the politics?
Every part
exactly?
Of the north. From the northeast, the northwest, the north central.
It is a normal situation that people will, somebody who is not in power today want to be in power tomorrow. Politicians will always seek for political office, and the man who is in office too will want to consolidate his own power. So there will always be that struggle until the people will speak at the end of the day during election. So I don't see anything that is new today.
So your general assessment of the north, of the politics, even in the north, by extension to all the part of Nigeria, is a normal politics.
It's of course. Okay, tell me what is new. no, tell me what is new.
So Alhaji, you mean you've not seen any new thing in the politics?
Yeah, that's why I'm asking to tell me which one. Okay, if you mention it, then we'll talk about that.
Of course, you are the chairman of the IPAC, so I'm trying to learn from you.
Okay, fine.
You have seen things
it is not peculiar to the north.
Yeah.
In 2015, that's when Buhari came in. PDP was in power.
APC?
No, not APC. Before APC, there's
ANPP.
The three political parties. There's CPC for Buhari.
Yeah.
There's ANPP, and there's I think it's the party, the former Ashwaji party there in Lagos.
Yeah.
I think it's ACD.
Yeah, AD and AD the material.
So they all came together, formed a coalition, took over power from PDP. You understand? So people will always find a way to take over power. So now they are in power. So some other people went on today, or some other group will say, okay, now let's repeat the same thing that they do. Let's come together and see how we can dislodge this government. It is a normal exercise. People will always want to take power. And it's for the man who is in power to tell the people, no, I am doing well.
Well, Alhaji, even on this table, we want to see that want to thank you so much for being
here.
It has been a very interesting conversation here on the desk, which we can go on to talk more and more, even on issues around Nigerian politics. But so far, so good is how far we can go today on the desk. And my guest has been Alhaji Yusuf, and we've been talking about the politics generally in Nigeria, and just an overview of the various states and also across the country. Well, don't forget that you can join the conversation on our various social media platform now showing on your screen at Global TV NG, and you can also download our app on various iOS and Android devices to keep touch with our various programs and conversation, because here on this table the conversation never stops. And always remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Till I come your way again, I am Godwin Sunday. Up next is News Cycle. Bye for now.